Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the world of metal painting, and specifically, how to calculate the paint consumption you'll need for your project. So, let's start with the basics. The most important factor in determining paint consumption is the surface area you're covering. You'll need to measure the length and width of each surface you're painting and multiply them together to get the square footage. Now, let's talk about paint coverage. This is the area that 1 liter of paint can cover. It's usually listed on the paint can label, and it can vary depending on the type of paint and the surface you're painting. For metal, you can expect a coverage rate of around 10 to 12 square meters per liter. But wait, there's more. You also need to consider the number of coats you'll be applying. Most metal surfaces require at least TWO coats of paint for proper coverage and durability. So, you'll need to multiply your total square footage by TWO to get the total area you'll be painting. Now, let's talk about the type of paint you're using. Different types of paint have different coverage rates. For example, oil-based paints tend to have a higher coverage rate than water-based paints. So, it's important to check the label of your specific paint to get an accurate coverage rate. And finally, let's talk about brush selection. Choosing the right brush can make a big difference in your paint consumption. A high-quality brush with good bristles will help you apply the paint evenly and efficiently, reducing the amount of paint you waste. So, there you have it. By following these simple steps, you can accurately calculate the paint consumption you'll need for your metal painting project. Remember to factor in the surface area, coverage rate, number of coats, and the type of paint you're using. And don't forget to choose a good quality brush. Happy painting! Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the world of metal paint and figuring out exactly how much you'll need for your project. Let's start with paint coverage. This is the amount of area a single coat of paint can cover. You'll usually find this information on the paint can itself, often expressed in square meters per liter. It's super important to remember that this is theoretical coverage, meaning it doesn't account for any paint loss during application. Now, let's talk about paint application losses. This is where things get a little more real. You're going to lose some paint during the application process, no matter how careful you are. This loss can be due to things like overspray, drips, and uneven application. To calculate paint application losses, you need to consider the type of surface you're painting, the type of paint you're using, and the application method. For example, if you're painting a rough surface like a rusty metal, you'll likely need more paint than if you were painting a smooth, primed surface. Similarly, using a spray gun will result in more overspray than using a brush or roller. A good rule of thumb is to add a percentage to your theoretical coverage to account for these losses. For example, if the paint can says it covers 10 square meters per liter, you might add 20% to account for losses, bringing your actual coverage down to 8 square meters per liter. Remember, it's always better to overestimate your paint needs than to run out in the middle of your project. So, take your time, do your calculations, and enjoy the satisfaction of a perfectly painted metal surface.